Welcome back, class. We're going to finish up this stuff, and I'm going to give you the answers to these and walk through them if you need them to. I have a special little guest here today, Miss Lily. Lily, you want to say hi?
Hello.
Hello. Okay. So, when we last left you, we were solving with algebra, or solving with multiplication with matrices, and using algebra as well to solve for missing variables. If I look here in this first number 3 that I asked you guys to do, it's in row 3. So then I look here in row 3 and I see that I either have y or -7 as the options. Y would be another variable, so I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to use -7, which is in row 3, column 2. So now I know that I'm going to use x and -2. And because I need them to be friends with -7 or result in -7, I need to use column 2. So don't touch too much. If I use this, x is first in the orange circle. Who is first in the other orange circle, Lily?
1.
1. Plus -2 is second in there. And who is second here?
2.
And if I take row 3 times column 2, row 3 and column 2 will result in -7. So 1 times x is x. -2 times 2 is -4, and they equal -7 together. I'm going to add 4, and I end up with x equal to -3. Now that's one of my letters, but
Cool.
Do I have any other letters?
You have 2 more.
I have y.
Yeah.
Y is in row 3, column 1. So, row 3, I'm going to reuse these numbers, which usually would make me nervous, but I already solved for x, so that's okay that I'm reusing him. And now I have to use column 1. So now if I look at the red circles, x comes first in the first red circle. Who comes first in the second red circle?
6.
Plus?
That negative.
-2 comes second, and who comes second?
-4.
That's my girl, and together they are in the same spot, row 3, column 1, just like y. So now, I wouldn't ordinarily be nervous, but I'm going to put -3 in here. And -3 and 6 multiplied together give me -18. Do you remember what 2 times 4 is?
2 times 4 equals...
If I take 4 2 times, it's?
4 times it's 8.
That's right. And if I owe $18 and I have 8, I am still going to owe $10.
Actually, more than 10.
No, exactly -10. All right, so that got rid of x and y, or solved for those, so we're done with this problem. Let's move on to number 4. When I look at number 4, again, this first matrix, all I care about are the rows. So x is in row 1, so I have to use 2 and x. So I'm either going to use -14 or -2. If I use -14, I'm going to use row 1, which is nice. 5 and 6 are beautiful numbers. If I use -2, I'd be in column 2, which has another variable. So -2 is not good to use. I am going to use -14. Oops, I don't like how big my circle is. I'm going to use -14. Now, -14 is in row 1, column 1. So I am going to use column 1 right here, the 5 and the 6.
5, 6.
So 2 comes first in row 1. Who comes first in the second purple circle?
5.
That's my girl. And then x comes second. Who else comes second?
6.
That's my girl. And they together will become this lovely -14 once I do the math. Okay? 2 times 5 is 10. X times 6 is 6x. And together, again, they should add up to -14. I'm going to minus 10. 6x will equal -24. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X is -4. Woohoo! So far, so good, but I have more letters. So I look for my next letter and I see y. Now, I am doing these alphabetically, but you don't always have to. In fact, sometimes you can't do them alphabetically because you might need to find Y to find X, but that's okay too.
It's in alphabet order. X, Y, Z.
I wish. Now, Y is in column 2. And the reason I care about his columns is because he is the second guy. So I need to either use -2 or -13. Now, -2 would mean I would use row 1. But it's okay because I already solved what X is. -13 is in row, is in row 2, column 2. So then I could do that as well. Do you want to use -2 or -13? You choose.
This time I'm going to use 2.
-2? Okay, let's use -2. Now, -2 is in row 1, column 2. So I need to reuse these numbers again. Row
That's okay.
1. That's okay, because why? We know
Because we know who X is.
That's right. So in the green circle, 2 comes first. And in the second green circle, who comes first?
The second green circle, 5.
Not just any 5.
-5.
Woohoo! That's right. You're like your mom. In the first green circle, X comes second. And who would he partner with? Who's the second guy there?
Y.
That's okay. 2 letters. I feel like
That's okay.
nailed it, but not really. That's okay because, again, we already know that X is -4. So, do you know what 2 times 5 is?
2 times 5 equals 10.
Yeah, but 2 times -5 is -10. And X times Y, we know X is -4Y equals -2. We're going to add 10, and we get -4Y equals 8. I'm going to divide by -4, divide by -4, and I end up with Y equals -2. Woohoo!
Wait, but we still have one more letter.
That's
Z.
Oh my gosh, you're such a smarty pants. Let me tell you, girl. All right, so now we're going to find Z. Oops, let's change colors. It didn't change for me. So Z is in row 2, column 1. That's his location. That's why we spent so much time talking about location. So row 2, column 1. So I'm going to use these numbers, row 2, these numbers, column 1, and multiply them together. So 3 is the beginning of the pink circle. Who is the beginning of this pink circle? 5. That's right.
Pink is purple.
Pinkish purple, yeah. And -2 is second. Who's second on the other guy?
6.
And they will be whatever Z is. So 3 times 5 is 15.
Not just any.
That's -12.
Not just any 12. -12.
That's right. And if I have a 15 and a -12, Z will ultimately be 3.
Yay.
Woohoo! We're almost done. I have one more. I know. Ooh, exciting.
Next paper.
If you need to pause so you can look at them, go ahead. I know I'm going pretty quickly, but I don't want to give you a long video. So let me switch to
We're going to take a
pink.
walk.
All right. So A. A is in row 2.
Hot pink.
So I'm either going to use 0 or 2. I cannot use 0 because, oh no, I can use 0. Wait a minute. I cannot use 0 because if I use 0, I would use row 1, column 1, which would be A, and 0, which would get rid of each other. Oh no.
Oh no.
So I can't use 0. I'm going to use 2, which is in row 1, column 2. But then I noticed something, Lily. Oh no. What's the last number in this hot pink circle?
A B.
A letter. And this is already a letter, so that would be 2 letters. So I am actually going to switch colors because I cannot solve for A first. I have to solve for B first. So I am going to use column 2. Column 2 has -12 and 2. 2 hit a dead end, so I'm going to use -12. So I need row 1, column 2. So I need row 1 with column 2. So 5 is the first guy in the first green circle. Who's the first guy in the other green circle?
6.
Okay, plus 6 is in the middle. Who's in the middle of the second green circle?
A 3, but not just any 3, and -3.
That's right. And finally, I have 8 is going to be partnered with my letter B. And together, they will all produce that -12 entry on this resulting matrix. All right, 5 times 6. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
30.
30. Do you know what 6 times 3 is?
6 times 3 equals 18.
That's right, -18. Okay, now I have to combine like terms before I do this. 30
That's
and
fancy.
I'm telling you, it's real fancy math.
This is my math class.
This is your math class. All right, so now I'm going to -12 from both sides. These cancel, and 8b is -24. Divide by 8, divide by 8. B is -3. Woohoo!
Whee!
Now, that B is going to bring us back to our A. So A, we all have set up with the hot pink stuff. 1 is going to get partnered with 6. -2 is going to get partnered with
-3.
And A is going to get partnered with B. That's okay.
That's 2 letters.
But what do you know?
B.
You know B. And they equal 2. So this guy here is going to join the problem. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 3 is also 6. And the
It's
two
also a -6.
but they cancel out. It's okay. You'll learn that when you're older. And B is -3. And the A chills.
Equals.
And then, oops, we got to do the fancy. That's right, equals 2. Combine like terms. We're going to -12, -12. We end up with -3A equals -10.
We're almost done.
We are almost done. -10. And we divide by -3, divide by -3, and we get 10/3. Let me just check I did this correctly. 6 and 6 is 12. I just don't want to lead anybody astray. This looks good. This looks good. And it's okay. It's a fraction. Fractions are numbers too. All right. We hope you did as well as we did. Lily, did you have fun?
Yeah. And have a nice afternoon.
Yeah. And stay safe.
Stay safe.
All right. Bye, guys.